You are listening to the Atlanta Real Estate Forum radio show, Around Atlanta Edition, showcasing the best of Metro Atlanta, our communities, the attractions, and the special events that make Atlanta great. Welcome to our virtual town square. And now, here are today's hosts.
Good morning and welcome back to the Around Atlanta edition. I am your host, Todd Schnick, joined by my friend and colleague, Carol Morgan. Before we kick things off, however, we do want to thank New American Funding for being our 2021 show sponsor, now our 10th year on the air. It has been wonderful having them as our friend, collaborator, and partner these last years and a half. All right, Carol Morgan, this is going to be a cool conversation. Really neat, successful project. Neat guy we've had on the show before. It's good to have him back. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. So we get to welcome back Kevin Gillese. He is the former artistic director of Dad's Garage, and he has turned film producer. So we get to the special treat of finding out what it is he's working on now. So welcome, Kevin. Give us that quick overview of your background.
Sure. Yeah, I moved here to Atlanta from my home country of Canada. I was artistic director at Dad's Garage for 10 years, and I stepped down to try my hand at making some independent film comedy projects. So here we are.
Here we are. Well, gosh, off and running. You got a really, really cool project that we're principally going to be talking about today, and it's been crowdfunded successfully. So that's really, really excited. But give us an overview of this new project. It's How to Ruin the Holidays.
I have lots of ideas on how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just visit my house in December and you'll get a good sense of it as well. And you know what? That's actually a great segue because this script is absolutely inspired from my family and in real life. I mentioned I moved here to Atlanta from Canada. Well, the script is about a woman who has moved from Atlanta to Los Angeles. So she's working in comedy. It's kind of the metaphor, right? And she comes back home for the holidays. She doesn't see her family that much because she's off doing her comedy thing. And so it's in a lot of ways my story of coming back to see my family after moving down here to Atlanta. The difference, of course, is I flipped the genders so that I could make the lead character my wife, Amber Nash. So it was a real delight writing for her. The dad character is being played by another friend, Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I should mention for the listeners that don't know, my wife Amber is best known for playing Pam Poovey on Archer. And then the most kind of crucial or exciting piece for me is there's a local actor named Luke Davis who is disabled, and he is playing a role that was inspired by my younger brother, Mark, who also has a disability. So, it's a big, dumb comedy that's really sweet, even though it sneaks in a lot of F-bombs and stuff like that.
Well, what gave you the idea for the film, and how does your family feel about you, impersonating them?
I think that right now my family is flattered and excited, and then we'll see if that holds after they see the film.
Okay.
I hope they will be. It's done with love, even if I'm, kind of milking a little bit of humor out of some of the foibles of the people around me. And the idea from it came, so we did a short film. I worked with a company called the Spotlight Program, which operates out of the MJCCA here in Atlanta. And they work with actors with disabilities, developmental disabilities and cognitive disabilities, to give them opportunities to be, actors in projects. And so when I was back at Dad's Garage, they invited me over to work on a project with them without even realizing that I had such a personal connection to this world because of my brother. And so the project we ended up making was this short film, and it's called That Was Awesome. You guys can probably dig up a link for your viewers if they want to see it, or they could just search That Was Awesome in Dad's Garage on YouTube. It's really funny. It's really good. Anyways, that kind of was where we met Luke, and when I kind of went, oh, wow, not only is this guy incredible, but I think I might be in a unique position to create projects that can show that to the world. So that's kind of the inspiration for creating this one.
Yeah, that's awesome that that's, I think, probably an underrated part of the work that you do as a producer is identifying that kind of talent and finding a role where they can, or you can empower them to just truly show off their amazing talent. That's, there's this ongoing question: what the hell does a producer actually do? And that's part of it. That's one of the roles is to make those kinds of connections. So kudos to you on that. So we mentioned that this is crowdfunded successfully. Last time I checked, it was roughly around 120 grand, which is quite impressive. Congratulations on that. Talk about how that happened. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I wish I could say that it just like fell like manna from the heavens, and it was just like, we just put it out there and people loved us. But the truth is that it was a lot of hard work. Everyone in my network is very sick of getting personal emails about it, as is the personal networks of everyone involved. And also, anybody that is connected to any of us on social media is sick of their feed being spammed with constant posts about the project. And then, of course, doing so many different things like this, podcasts, new media, but also traditional media. In fact, we got just a few weeks ago, we got a write-up in Variety magazine about the project, which was just...
That's huge.
As independent filmmakers, we're just like, what? Oh God.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's how it all came together. It wasn't just kind of easy. We really kind of fought for it.
Right. Well, it's interesting. So you're getting this, notoriety already, and the film isn't even shot yet. And it's not just magazines. You're already getting award nominations. How does that work? What do you attribute that to?
Yeah. So let me give a little bit of context here and say that we were planning on doing this project last year. And I don't know if y'all know, but there was a bit of disruption last year. And
really?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I don't know whatever you're talking about.
So in the year of extra time that I had, where as a recently transitioned show business professional, you'd be shocked at the lack of opportunities that were coming my way last year. So this is all just a setup to say I started working on the script more. I would send it into competitions, and a lot of these script competitions will give you feedback. And so I would get my feedback, and then I would go, oh, that's a good point. And I would rewrite. And so luckily, by the time we got into kind of crowdfunding mode a year later, I had iterated the script so many times that now the competitions I was getting into, I was getting kind of awards or semi-finalist or finalist, or you know what I mean? Like gold. Basically, I guess got some gold stars for all my hard work on the script over the past year.
Well, and that's there's a reason they give Oscars out for scripts, because that's a brutal bit of work and not easy to do. And there's a million people who think, oh, I could write a script, and then they sit down to do it. Ain't so easy. So congratulations on that. And I certainly get how the multiple iterations that's part of the work too. So, I mean, the story is a comedy that talks about diversity and inclusion and developmental disabilities. I mean, there's some heavy topics in a comedy. I mean, how does that work?
Well, it took me a long time to figure this out, but I feel like part of, because I've been working in comedy for my whole life. Like my wife, Amber, who is way more successful than me, by the way, says, she's like, Kev, you have the purest comedy career I've ever heard of. Because by the time I was 17, I was already kind of like earning a living at that, doing shows in bars and stuff. Even, shouldn't have even been in there, actually. The point is, it's taken me a few decades of working professionally in comedy before I realized that my favorite use of it is as that kind of spoonful of sugar. You have something important you want to say, and you want to find a way to say it that people can hear it. Use that humor, use that comedy as a spoonful of sugar to get that medicine down. And so it's important for me to take things that I care about and use humor to kind of peddle it to the masses, if you will.
Think you need 20% down to become a homeowner? Think again. What if you could buy a home without a down payment? That's right. New American Funding understands that saving for a down payment can be difficult. They have competitive loan programs that can get you into a new home. Their 100% FHA financing loan program makes getting into a new home with no down payment possible. Let one of their home loan professionals pre-qualify you. Contact a New American Funding loan officer today to find out more about these niche loan programs and start your home ownership journey. For more information, call 678-898-3540. That's 678-898-3540.
Well, talk a little bit more about how you chose local actor Luke Davis for the role, and that relationship and that character.
Sure. I mean, in the short film we made, he's absolutely a standout. If you see the short, he is just so funny. He's so good. He nails it.
Mhm.
And so he really was, it's like, I didn't make the project and then select him. I met him and then built the project around him.
Yeah. That's
So so it's always been him. There's no one else. I don't know that I would have thought to make this project if I didn't have him, because it's not like you can just find it's such a specific niche, you know. And so I got lucky. I found him. He probably thinks he's lucky he found me, but I think I'm lucky I found him.
Yeah, well, that's a great story, and gosh, you're familiar with a film that has been around a long time, and the key role was by a certain actor, and so you just begin to identify that actor with that film, and then you think of the what if. So what if this person had played that role instead, and you can't actually see the film? I mean, it's a fascinating exercise to think about that, and I have to say, the other role that a producer plays is trying to piece together the story with the right talent, and that ain't easy to do. There's a lot of talent out there, so that's a fascinating process that I wish I understood more and could get the science behind it, because that's a lot of work, and that's tricky to match the role with the right actor. I mean, that's a key piece of this. Talk about you mentioned some earlier, but talk about some of the other actors that have a key role here.
Yeah. So I mentioned Luke, and I mentioned Amber, and I mentioned Colin. But I didn't mention two other actors that we've recently brought on board in smaller roles. Aisha Tyler, who is well known from being in Archer, but also for hosting Whose Line. So she's kind of this wonderful bridge between the rest of our cast. And Henry Zabrowski, who is known for his very popular podcast, Last Podcast on the Left, but also the star of the Adult Swim show, Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell, and a number of other things. So we have those two joining the cast, and we're just lucky to have so many great comedy names jumping on board. And you've mentioned a few times kind of the question about what a producer actually does. And in my mind, well, if you'll indulge me, there's a short quote by a wonderful musician that I love that says, "One shoe in the soupy gutter, one shoe in the velvet heaven." And to me, it describes my life. The reason I love that quote is when I get to work as a writer, that's the velvet heaven. That's art. It's free. Everything's possible. Nothing but creativity. And then the soupy gutter is what being a producer is. It's the gritty, difficult work of taking those ideas and that creative spirit and bringing it into the real world. And it's a painful job because it requires compromise and sacrifice and all that. So when you ask about what does a producer do, I'm like, they just take ideas and make them real.
Well, trudging through that soupy gutter is why that guy gets to go up on stage when the Oscars announced. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, what else, do you want to share with our audience? I guess my big question is, and that what else is, when can we see this film? When's it going to be completed? What's that?
Yeah, we're currently slated to shoot in December.
Okay.
And previously I would have said, well, we're shooting in December, but I learned my lesson from last year when you think, what could possibly happen to delay the production? So we're currently slated to shoot in December.
Okay.
And then it'll be in 2022, it'll be time for festival release.
Uh-huh.
And then it'll be coming out to the general public after that. And the exact timing on that is kind of dependent on how things go at the festivals. But anyone who's interested in keeping up on the project can follow us on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or you can just go to howtoruintheholidaysmovie.com and get all your info there.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. Oh, that's awesome. Well, good luck with this. We're excited to see this thing unfold. And as you get closer to that festival season, let's be sure we reconnect and get you back on the show so we can kind of talk about, because at that stage, everything should be in the can and through editing. And so it'll be fun to kind of talk about next moves. So kind of go on this journey with you if you'll indulge us. So that's awesome. So one last time, Kevin, if people want to follow along this project and be on that journey with you, where do they go?
The best place to go is to howtoruintheholidaysmovie.com. That's our website where you'll get links to all of our social media and stuff. But if you just search How to Ruin the Holidays Movie, you could find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Todd, Carol, thank you so much for having me. It's always great to see you all. And I look forward to catching up in like a year or so to see where things are at.
Well, good luck trudging through that CP gutter.
Thank you.
All right. Kevin Gillese, film producer and former artistic director at Dad's Garage. Great to have you again, Kevin. Good luck with everything. All right. Well, that wraps this week's Around Atlanta edition. Again, on behalf of our show sponsor, New American Funding, my co-host, Carol Morgan, I am Todd Schnick. It's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and we look forward to seeing you again right here next week. We'll see you then.
Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio is made possible by Denim Marketing, the publisher of Atlanta Real Estate Forum, Atlanta's favorite source for real estate and home building news. Denim Marketing is a comfortable fit, like your favorite pair of jeans. Denim Marketing tailors marketing strategies to meet your specific needs and niche. Try them on for size. They will work to create a perfect fit for your company's marketing program. Call them at 770-383-3360 or send an email to info@denimmarketing.com. For more information on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio or to inquire about being a guest, contact info@atlantarealestateforum.com. Check out the radio show by visiting atlantarealestateforum.com or by listening to the show on your favorite podcast app. And if you enjoyed today's broadcast, we'd sure appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio.